Today at noon, updates in a deadly shooting involving Portland police officers. New body camera video shows what happened inside a Pearl District apartment. Plus, health officials are reminding parents of a quickly approaching vaccine deadline, why they say it's important for your child to be up to date. And in an upset this morning, Jordan Stolz missing out on a gold medal sweep, where he placed in his last speed skating race of the 2026 Olympics. Thanks so much for joining us here at noon. I'm Stephanie Domerat. The talks of snow and where it will fall has been on our minds all week. And while we didn't see any flakes here in the city, parts of the Cascades and the Coast Range did get a few inches. That's where we find Thomas Schultz, who's live right by the Edwards Tunnel for us. Thomas, you've been out there all morning. How's it going there now?
Yeah, Stephanie, look, this is the place where we've seen the most snow this morning. Now, the Edwards Tunnel is that one tunnel coming from Highway 26 from Portland out to the Coast Range. We're at about 1,100 feet. And check this out. I'm going to put my foot in the snow here, and it just drops down. That's about 5 or 6 inches of snow here. Once again, the most snowfall we've seen anywhere in the Coast Range all morning long. Myself and photographer Eric Patterson have been traveling back and forth on Highway 26. You just saw that car go by. Highway 26 looks really good right now. Here's a semi coming by as well. Look, this was a little bit of a problem spot a little bit earlier this morning where there was a little bit of sludge on the roadways. There was a place where it was slick. We've seen ODOT crews out here since about 5:30 this morning, not just snow plows, but also somebody putting down sand. There's a little bit of gravel on the roadway as well. So clearly something that they have been prioritizing all morning long to make sure Highway 26 was a place where people could go and be just functional as general. But once again, right here, over here, it just looks like a winter wonderland right off to the side of the road. Those tree branches still a little bit heavy with snow. So that is the one caution that I want to warn people about is if you're on Highway 26, watch out because snow is falling off of those trees. But still, fortunately, Stephanie, those roads are looking pretty good on the Coast Range.
All right, Thomas, thank you. Sure is pretty and glad to know it's not impacting traffic there. Thank you. And we are tracking in the metro where we're seeing snow and across our area. Let's get to meteorologist Chris McGinnis. You got to look at the coast for us.
I do. Check this out. It's not often you see this. Cascade Head in the background from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. You got some snow up there. Of course, the elevation of the headland gets up over 1,000, maybe 1,200 feet. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And you can also see some blue sky in the background, meaning our precipitation is quickly coming to an end here across the Pacific Northwest. Looking offshore here, in fact, there's a lot of blue sky to be had there. All right, radar over the last 3 hours, you get a little smattering of some sprinkles and scattered very light rain showers. Although as I put the live scan up now, you can see for the most part that has pretty much come to an end outside of a spit of rain or two here and there. We're up to 41 degrees last check at PDX, and across the region we're in the low 40s in a lot of spots. 39 right now, Forest Grove, one of the cooler locations. Oregon City, Wilsonville, likewise checking in at 39. And Dallas, same story, 40 right now in Salem. All right, the plan for the rest of this afternoon, we'll call it mostly to maybe partly cloudy. There's the outside chance of a sprinkle, but generally the lion's share of our precipitation has already fallen. And we're pretty much done with that, with high temperatures inching again into the low 40s, about 43 or 44 we'll do it here in Portland. The potential concern tonight is for temperatures getting down to near the freezing mark tomorrow morning, which could mean a slick spot or two in the roads for Friday's morning commute. Otherwise, we are transitioning back to our normal and regularly scheduled rainy weather pattern heading into the weekend, and we'll look at that coming up in just a few minutes. Stephanie?
Okay, we'll see you then, Chris. Thank you. 2 students at Mark Morris High School in Washington were arrested this morning for rape. The Longview Police Department says the 2 were part of an investigation involving criminal allegations. The department is also looking into mandatory reporting requirements. There is no threat to students, and anyone with more information is asked to contact police. Portland police released body camera video of officers shooting and killing a man at an apartment in the Pearl District. The shooting happened back on February 5th. We do want to warn you that video can be tough to watch, but we will not show the actual shooting. Officers were serving a search warrant of 57-year-old Eric Scherer after they say he threatened to shoot a grocery store security officer. Body cam video shows officers breaching the door of his apartment around 5:15 in the morning. He refused to come out. Officers say they tried to negotiate and eventually used gas to force him out. Portland police say he came out with a gun And that's when an officer fired from behind a ballistic shield. Another officer then fired from a stairwell. Scherer was holding a gun and a flashlight. The district attorney's office announced this morning the shooting was justified. Detective Charles Ashame and Officer Dustin Barth are now both on administrative leave, which is standard protocol. The February 25th deadline to update your child's vaccination records to avoid missing school is quickly approaching. Under Oregon law, all students in school, including preschool and those in child care facilities, must have documentation of required immunizations, or they will not be allowed to attend class. Over 4,500 Multnomah County families received school exclusion warnings. Multnomah County's health officer, Dr. Richard Bruno, stressed the importance of children getting immunizations like the measles vaccines. The county is orchestrating catch-up clinics so those who still need their vaccines can get them fast.
The 3 clinics that we're offering as catch-up clinics are this Saturday from 10 to 2 p.m., next Tuesday evening from 5 to 8 p.m., and then next Wednesday from 9 a.m. to noon. And those are at the OHSU Richmond Clinic on Southeast Division. This is a very urgent year because there's been so many measles cases across the United States. Here in Oregon, we've had 5 cases of the measles, so we really want to ensure that people have gotten both of those required vaccines for the measles.
No appointments are needed for the walk-in clinics, and no insurance or ID is required. Well, that was the scene last night at a Portland City Council meeting that led to 4 people being arrested. The protesters who were angry about Portland's ICE facility had to be removed from the council chambers before the meeting was moved online. Alma McCarty has the story.
Can we please call attendance? Call roll.
Portland city councilors convened Wednesday with intentions to discuss more than $20 million of unbudgeted housing funds.
Each of you are passing the buck on to anyone else trying to get the heat off yourselves and make excuses for inaction.
A group of anti-ICE protesters who continuously urged the city to close the South Portland Immigration and Customs facility had other plans.
Directing security to please remove the individuals from space.
The disruption, which drove the council to recess and reconvene virtually, continued inside council chambers until Portland police arrived, pushing the protesters out the doors. Meantime, councilors carried on.
Every time we have met so far, the number of dollars being identified has grown. This has been a relatively exhausting exercise.
The council is considering using the money for things like rent assistance or developing more affordable housing. But in the end, Wednesday, they voted to postpone further discussion.
I do not feel like this body is ready to make a decision of this magnitude.
We need to get some money on the streets right now. And just delaying this, I mean, justice delayed is justice denied.
And that was Alma McCarty reporting for us. Portland Community College has sent out another alert related to the man accused of stalking and harassing people near campus. The latest message was sent yesterday afternoon about a sexual harassment incident at a bus stop at 82nd and Division. College leaders believe they've identified the man who has stalked or harassed students at least 4 times over the last month. But so far, it appears none of the victims have filed police reports. Officials say the person in question was already banned from all PCC campuses. If you or someone you know is a survivor of sexual assault, remember there is help available anytime. You can get 24/7 support by calling the National Sexual Assault Hotline at the number you see here on your screen, 1-800-656-4673. Starting Monday, the historic Columbia River Highway will close down during the daytime for up to 3 weeks from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays. ODOT crews will be removing hazardous trees and loose rock between Larch Mountain Road and Vista House. The storms back in December triggered landslides there, and while temporary repairs allowed it to reopen, there is still a lot of cleanup to be done. Coming up, a long-awaited matchup and a game worth watching. The women's hockey gold medal game is going on right now. We'll tell you who is in the lead. Plus, what could have ended up in a tragedy for a young football fan has a happy ending. How the Seattle Seahawks came through for a championship-sized surprise.
I'm Matthew Herchick, new morning anchor, KGW. I'm a huge sports fan, and I know I might be from the Buckeye State, but I'm excited to explore what the Rose City has to offer. I want to make sure you're prepared for the day, whether it's bringing you breaking news or sharing those inspirational stories that make you smile. We've got you covered. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to Portland's #1 streaming newscast, Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Welcome back. One of the most anticipated gold medal matchups is going on right now as Team USA and Team Canada go head-to-head for the women's hockey title. Canada leading the game going into the third period 1-0 thanks to a goal by Kristen O'Neill. This is the 7th time in Olympic history these two teams have battled it out for gold. So far, Team USA has swept the competition, outscoring previous opponents 31-1. Canada, however, are the defending champs and hold more gold medals in women's hockey with a total of 5. Also happening right now, women's figure skating finals. The spotlight heavy on the Blade Angels, Amber Glenn, Isabel Levito, and Alyssa Liu. Glenn skating first this morning after falling to 12th during her short program, just wrapping up her free skate a couple of minutes ago and taking over first place with a score of 2:14. Levito and Liu will skate heading into the evening. Jordan Stolz won his third medal today. This time it was silver in men's 1,500-meter speed skating. The 21-year-old started with the men's 1,000-meter event, where he set an Olympic record on his way to gold, with a time 50 seconds faster than the second-place winner. Stolz also won in the 500-meter speed skating event that saw him set another Olympic record.
Yeah, I'm happy with the silver. I think Ning had probably one of the best races of his life, and I couldn't top his time, but I tried to, but I just didn't have it in the last lap and middle lap too, but still happy with 2 golds and 1 silver.
The medal count is brought to you on KGW by On Point Community Credit Union.
And speaking of medals, here's a look at your medal count. The U.S. is sitting in third right now for a total of 25 medals. Norway, as usual, is in first with 34 total medals, including 16 gold. Home country Italy sitting in second with 26 medals. All right, let's check in with Chris with a look at your weather. I know a lot of people all eyes out for snow.
Yeah, well, it looks like the snow threat is is completely over for the lowlands. And in fact, we are going to be warming up a little bit over the next couple of days. Snow levels will rise in the Cascades, but there is more moisture heading our way for this weekend. We'll wrap up that with your 7-day forecast after the break.
Hi, I'm Christine Padawanich. I'm a journalist at KGW, and I love exploring Portland's amazing food scene. New spot? I'm there. So I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still. It moves. It moves you to act, to vote, to volunteer, to speak up, or to lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the good stuff that stays with you wherever you are. And at KGW, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Portland.
Welcome back. A young Seahawks fan thought his Super Bowl memory was gone for good after his autographed football slipped away during the team's Super Bowl victory parade. But the Seahawks made sure the story had a championship ending. King 5's Brady Wakayama shows us how one lost ball turned into a big-time Seahawks surprise.
This story just did a 180. Like, it started with like the saddest face ever, and you know, when your kid hurts, you hurt.
Hurt now turned
to like something that he'll never forget.
After a game of catch, this young fan will hold on to forever.
That was like crazy. I thought he was just gonna do the ball, but he was like, "You want your jersey too?"
How about them Hawks, baby?
8-year-old Antonio Rodriguez Jr. thought he'd lost a piece of the Seahawks for good. Last Wednesday, an autographed football signed by defensive back Josh Jobe and other players slipped away during the chaos of the Super Bowl parade.
Keep that one safe.
Now a week later, from heartbreak to the ultimate Seahawks surprise, Antonio and his family got to hang out with Jobe at the VMAC.
To see it go from him being upset to him being able to meet one of his heroes and the Seahawks turning this whole thing into something beautiful, it's a beautiful thing.
For many fans, the second Super Bowl title feels like redemption. But for the Rodriguez family, this was the redemption story.
It's just so much better than the other one, because I have this and this.
It's a storybook ending.
Better than Disneyland.
You heard that right. He said it's better than going to
Disneyland.
A line only a 12 could deliver straight from the heart.
Thank you so much for doing that with me, and Seahawks, keep winning the Super Bowl.
I love him. He's so cute. And good catch too, right?
Good hands too. I mean, they could be the market for a receiver.
I mean,
you know, in 15 years.
Yeah, invest now. He may be ready later.
Maybe get him that scholarship. Get him on a fast track back to Seattle. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
All right, let's talk about what's coming our way now that the precipitation is coming to an end here across the Pacific Northwest. Our low elevation snow threat is over, so let's be clear on that. And in fact, temperatures are starting to moderate just a little bit. So even the coastal passes, which were quite snowy this morning, are beginning to thaw out. The next thing I'm watching is for the possibility of freezing temperatures overnight tonight. No precipitation, but possibly some frosty roadways early on Friday morning. Friday looks like kind of an in-between day. We're in between systems. Today's system is moving out. The next one is on its way in, hence in between. And so I think tomorrow's a mostly dry day, but fairly cloudy. And then the rain returns this weekend, and maybe on the order of half an inch, 3/4 to an inch of rain cumulatively once the rain moves back in Saturday through Sunday and Monday. It could be a fairly wet period, but again, we're talking rain, no threat of snow at low elevations this weekend, and along with that will come rising Cascade snow levels, probably back up to close to pass level by the end of the weekend. All right, right now it's 42 degrees. Last check at PDX under, we'll call it broken cloud cover. 39 in Beaverton, 39 Forest Grove. Big perspective here across the Northwest. It's chilly, but not by February standards in eastern Oregon. 31 still below the freezing mark in Burns. Baker City checking in with 33. Visible satellite imagery. It's pretty cool to watch this. The sky actually started to clear out along the Oregon coast. The beach is actually seeing what's turning out to be a lovely but cool February afternoon. And of course, I showed you that shot just a few minutes ago of the snow on the top of Cascade Head from Lincoln City. It's pretty cool to see that as well. We're going to be pretty socked in with cloud cover here in the valley. We may yet squeeze out a sprinkle, but I think otherwise the forecast is mostly dry and cool with temperatures remaining in the mid-40s. A solid 10 degrees off the mark for what would be considered average this time of the year. Sunset, by the way, You know, we're knocking on the door of 2 hours of added daylight since the winter solstice back in December. That's pretty cool. In fact, I think Saturday is the day where we go 2+ hours. So we're adding 3 minutes of daylight every day. We'll be back down in the upper 30s, of course, by 8 o'clock. Okay, radar right now still showing a little smattering of blue and green on the map, primarily focused along in the West Hills right now. So maybe a sprinkle or a snow flurry there. North Oregon Coast Range, 1 or 2 sprinkles there. But for the most part, again, the precipitation is on its way out and clearing sky on its way in, which brings me to this. This is tomorrow morning. 7, 8 o'clock. Note the temperatures here in Portland. We're down around 32, 33 degrees. So maybe not Portland per se, but we know the temperatures can vary several degrees within any one location, or within a mile of any one location, which means that there could be some slick, frosty spots on the roads tomorrow. That said, Futurecast actually indicates fog moving in, so that may preclude too much of a fall off in temperatures early tomorrow morning, but something we'll be on the lookout for. Otherwise, Friday looks like a mostly cloudy day, and then the next round, or the first round of the next system, comes in on Saturday with rain rolling in, and then we'll be seeing occasional rain in the Saturday forecast, and then a pretty good slug of rain coming our way for Sunday. So if you're looking for, which day is the wetter of the 2 days, I think that's going to be Sunday. High temperatures on Saturday back to about 47, low 50s. We'll do it on Sunday. And Saturday through Monday looks like a fairly wet period. As we're talking rain, not snow, but just rain for the lower elevations, with snow levels eventually climbing back up in the Cascades to 4,000 feet or maybe even slightly higher.
Okay.
Stephanie?
Chris, thank you so much. Coming up, the partial government shutdown this afternoon, the demands from both sides of the aisle as some federal employees continue to work without pay.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
I'm Trina Green, a morning anchor at KGW and new dog mom to this sweet guy. Meet Barry. I love getting your mornings off to a great start, whether it's sharing stories of resilience and triumph in our community, or following breaking news from Beaverton to Gresham and everywhere in between. We've got you covered, because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to KGW Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
Welcome back. The partial government shutdown over the Department of Homeland Security is expected to drag on, with lawmakers and the White House offering no signs of compromise. Some federal employees are still working without pay during the shutdown. Alice Barr has the latest from D.C.
President Trump eyeing two fronts today, greeting world leaders at the inaugural meeting of his Board of Peace before heading to Georgia to talk up his economic policies. The battleground visit part of a push to get on the road and boost Republicans ahead of the midterm elections.
Georgia is obviously a very important state to the president and to the Republican Party.
The president set to focus on making life more affordable, as some federal employees are now working without pay, while the Department of Homeland Security is in a shutdown over Democrats' demands to reform ICE and Border Patrol tactics.
The ball is back in the court of the White House.
because they have our most recent response.
The White House calling that proposal unserious, confirming President Trump has not had recent direct discussions with Democrats, despite his saying Monday that he'd sit down with them this week.
I will, but we have to protect our law enforcement. They've done a great job.
A growing number of Democratic lawmakers now planning to boycott the president's State of the Union Tuesday and instead join a counter-programming rally. The domestic divide coming as President Trump faces concern among longtime allies that his Board of Peace could undermine the United Nations. The Vatican saying Pope Leo will not join the board, following suit with allies like the UK and France.
The United Nations has great potential. They haven't lived up to the potential, but I think they might aid us a little bit.
The board expanding from its initial purpose to reconstruct Gaza, with the White House saying member states have pledged more than $5 billion toward aid and rebuilding. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Okay, big news just in, Olympics-wise.
Yeah, so
Team USA and Team Canada playing right now, and they are just tied up thanks to Hillary Knight.
Yes.
So that's big news.
There you go. They were down 1-0, and we're like,
we're back.
And now we're back, so stay tuned. I can't wait to hop in and see the replay of that later. All right, let's get you out the door and show you what's happening for the rest of this afternoon. Lots of clouds, 1 or 2 raindrops here and there, but I think generally it's just a mostly cloudy but mostly dry afternoon with temperatures in the mid-40s. Let's fast forward into the Friday and the weekend here. One thing we are watching for tomorrow, you know how often I do this, Stephanie? I grabbed the wrong clicker, so I'm going to go ahead and advance. Overnight lows tonight get down to near freezing, give or take a degree. So that does bring in the possibility of some slick spots on the roads for anything tomorrow that didn't dry up this afternoon and this evening. So be on the lookout for that. Our forecast this weekend is a little wet, more so Sunday than Saturday, and snow levels in the Cascades will start around 2,000 feet Saturday up to about 4,000 feet Saturday evening, so they will climb a little bit. If you're a skiing, winter recreational enthusiast.
Finally here.
Get it done over the next couple of days, though. It looks really good up there.
Sounds good, Chris. Thank you. And thanks so much for joining us. A reminder, we have added more live news to KGW Plus. You can tune in for Sunrise from 7 to 9 and at 5:30 as well. We'll see you back here today at 4 o'clock. Have a great day.